Alignment. Here we go. As you know, I went to Cliff Richard concert. If you don't know about the concert, that was my last video. Check it out about how I managed to go to two sold out shows. When I was at Cliff Richard, I sat next to this dude. He was 70. He was 70, 75. Can't remember. Something like that. He was 70. Was chatting to him. We got there early. Me and him were sitting next to each other. It was all empty around us. So it was a bit. You can't not talk to someone if we had a whole bunch of people around us. And he was really chatty, so it was cool. So of course, we're at a concert. We started talking about what bands have you seen? Have you seen Cliff Richard before? I hadn't. Got to see him. He's 80. Cliff Richard, 85. Last time he's touring, that's for sure. He was amazing. His voice was exactly the same as the records. It blew me away. Like you see some bands, Motley Crue, and they just sing it, just not cutting it anymore. But Cliff was amazing, amazing. Really glad I got to see him. And as you know, it was meant to be. 1, 2, 3, destiny. But anyway, I should get back to the moral of this video. Alignment. There's a music theme happening in my life at the moment. So I was talking to the dude next to me, and he's telling me about these awesome bands that he'd seen, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm only just starting to get back into going to concerts. I haven't been to I've been to concerts a lot in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, being on holidays. Before that, I hadn't been to another concert for ages. The last concert before that, I went to a Striper. Whoop! Oh, record collection. That was I'll get back to that soon. So this guy was telling me about his record collection, and I was like, wow, it's pretty awesome. I've only got one record. Striper. Ugh. And this one's, I love. This is my favorite Striper album. I bought it when I was 17, 18, I reckon. I saw it in the shop. It was an import. It used to be sealed in the plastic, but unfortunately it got water in it, so I had to take the plastic off. So now I have never actually played it. I only just took the plastic off it. I was unsure if it was repackaged or if it was actually a never opened LP record. I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter now because I had to open it so that it wouldn't get all mildewy. It looks okay. You can tell a little bit. It's a bit wonky here, but luckily I dried it up pretty fast. That was my only record. You maybe heard that word. You know where this is going, and probably by the title, I'll probably put Alignment Records. Talking to this dude about records, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this thing at the moment where I'm cleaning my house up, and it's something's in your life. You either gotta, if you're not amazed and so excited about it, you either need to get rid of it or upgrade it to make it exciting so you keep it. So when I was going through stuff, I had this one record, and I'm like, it's not that exciting just to have one record. So I was like, I was nearly gonna give it to someone or something like that, or as here you go, bro, and then I just won't have records. And I was like, if I could upgrade my record collection, something that I could celebrate, then that would be cool. Then this Striper record would not be lonely and I've just got one record. And I know in the future when I've got my place where I know I'm going to be. I'm renting, and I like moving every 2 years. So I don't like having a lot of stuff. But I've gotten rid of a lot of things which were not amazing in my life. I was like, ugh, why don't I upgrade it and make it something that I do think is amazing, that I can keep in my life? I was like, if I see records that are amazing, and if I can add to it, because I reckon I'll probably be moving probably within a year. I reckon next year I'll probably move, and that's what I'm going through my stuff at the moment, getting ready for a move, because I think I'll be moving again. So I don't like having a lot of stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to just move one record. But if I have a record collection, then I could pack it, and then it's like, that's my collection. I'm excited about it. I'm going to look after it. Whereas this one thing you're moving around, it doesn't really pack well. Where is that record? And that's why it ended up at the back of the cupboard, and there was some water stuff happening in my house. And when I was cleaning, I was like, that's where that record is, in the water. That's not cool. So that's what I thought after talking to this dude telling me about all his records. I was a bit like, yeah, one day I'm going to have a room with a record player and I'll be able to put records on, because as you know, I like listening to physical things. Like, these days people don't appreciate music as much as they used to. It's just too easy to, when an album, like Taylor Swift, I must admit, I listened to her album because it was free. Nothing, like it meant nothing to me. Whereas when I was young, if you wanted to listen to an album, you had to invest in it even before hearing it. I bought albums just because I liked the band. But then that band went through an artistic change and I got the album. I was like, hang on, that's not what I want. But I'd spent $30 on a CD, so I kept listening to it. And it caused me to listen to the drum part or the bass part or parts of the arrangement of the music to find something. I just paid $30 for this CD. I'm going to find something I like about it. And it caused me to get a better ear for music. I was like, yeah, I love this band. Hang on, what are they doing now? Freestyle Jazz Odyssey. Like, that's not the band I used to know. But I'd listen and go, all right, I'm listening to it again. All right, I like how the kick and the bass is doing that here. Oh, that guitar effect is really, really different in that song. And it caused me to listen for things. I actually like the lyrics of that. So even though as a whole I didn't like it, it caused me to dissect music. So I'd actually end up liking the CD. I just spent $30 on it when I was young. And I was like, well, this is my new CD. I'm going to like it. Yeah. These days, you get to listen to 1-2 tracks, go, yeah, nah. And then you don't. Do people actually listen to a whole album? I'll stop rambling because I think I've rambled about this before. The old days, people pay $30 for a CD. These days, it's free. Or $15 for a CD. Back when I was buying CDs, a coffee was $2. Now they're $7. Well, if the CD was supposed to be staying in the line of inflation, how much should a CD really be worth if you don't have all this streaming stuff going on? Exactly. So that's what was in my head. I was like, well, all right, I won't get rid of my one only record. I'll sit on it, and if I manage to upgrade it and be something that I can celebrate in my life, then I'll keep it. If it's just not alone, if I've got a collection, not just a one. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to sit with it. And when I move, it'll be easy to give this to someone. I've got a few people I know would love this. I'd flick it to them and go, I'm moving soon. That's for you. Keep it. No, don't hold on to it. I'm giving it to you. So that's what I thought I'd do. 2 days later, I slept in, cleaning my house, doing my things. I thought I had a feeling I needed to go to the Vinnie's shop because I like looking at. Sometimes I don't even buy. I just like looking at the DVDs and looking at what books have come in and yeah, usually don't even buy because it's on my way to getting my bread, milk, eggs, whatever I'm needing. I walk straight past it. As long as I'm there before 5 p.m., I always time my grocery shopping before 5 p.m. so I can just snip in and have a look, so forth, which is cool. And I felt, I didn't feel like I should go grocery shopping. I felt I should just go to Vinnie's. And I was like, that's just weird. I don't need to buy anything. I'll go tomorrow. But they just kept coming back to me. Go have a look at St. Vincent's, the old second-hand shop. I just kept putting it off. And then later, I looked at the time again and I was like, it's like 20 to 5. I got 20 minutes. Like, it's only a 10-minute walk away. So I was like, I need to leave now. Put my shoes on, left, walked down there, got in there, 10 to 5. I was like, I'll go to the grocery shop after I go here. I'll probably buy some snacks that I don't need or something. So when I was walking into the St. Vinnie's, I never look at the record collection, which is actually interesting in itself, but as I walked past, I just felt like, have a look at the record collection. It was a little bit bigger than normal. Like looking back, thinking back, I realize that now. So maybe that could have been why I was drawn there, and the other reason why I was drawn, you'll find out later. I was like, oh, wow, yeah, there's some cool records. I flicked through 3, and then what do I see? Pink Floyd, The Wall. I was like, that should not be in a second-hand shop. That should be in a like if you get this would be brand new in a shop or at a record collector's swap meet. Like, this should not be. Then flick it through again. I won't show you the other 1, 2 that I may have gotten. 3. Oh, how many did I get? You'll find out. And then as I was flicking through, I was going, what? It's one of the main ones that I had in my head, and I own physical copy, an album that I love, and it's something that I meditate to. It goes for an hour exactly, and it was one that I knew I would, if I had to, when I do set up my record player and have a good place, I always knew I'd get this album. And then of course, ba-dung, it is there. And these 2. And then with these is that. This is the Who, Tommy. And I was like, this is like, what are these records doing? And I was like, they are meant for me. And then I looked at, because when they price something, they put the date on when they price it and put it on the shelf. So this, as you can see, says the 11th. It's probably backwards. I don't know if it's mirrored. 11th of the 11th, 25. I saw that as well. I was like, that's today. So sometime today, and all the good records all had exactly the same date on it with their price tickets. And price, $30, 30 Australian dollars. So you work out the difference for wherever you are. Which is an amazing price. This record itself, $30, is probably worth 70 to 120, maybe. It's in the top 50 rock albums. I think it's of the, I don't know, of it is one. It's just a classic album, and I knew I would own it someday in LP. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And I kept flicking through, and I was like, what is that album? I was like, I saw the pictures on it. I'm like, I know it, but I don't know it. And I've only got 10 minutes till they close, and I'm like, what? I need to read. And I kept flicking. I was like, I've heard of that. I've heard of that. I know them. And I kept flicking through, and I was like, what? So what I did, I was like, as I flicked through, it was like, these 3 albums are 100% mine. I was like, yeah, that is flippin' believable. And I bought these 3. And I was like, I'm 100% getting these. These other unknown ones that were like making me go, that is a cool cover. What is that? Some old guys, probably some deceased estate, where they've grabbed all his records and go, I don't know what this is. Let's just give it to the second-hand shop. And the second-hand shop's like, oh, all right. Maybe they Googled and had a look at how much it should be. I don't know. Because the pricings, when I went to the shop to check out, to pay for these, 30, 40, 35, she was like, oh, they're expensive because their records are usually $2 or $3. These are the 3 most expensive ones that I purchased. So they must have looked to see. But you'll find out what other ones I got as well. So it just amazed me. So I took photos. I was like, they're closing now. Like, no one's going to come in and buy them. I'm going to come back at 9 a.m. So I did. I took photos of all the records that just, I was like, I need to research that. That's an awesome cover. I might buy it just for the cover. It looks cool. But then I went home and I was like, no. Don't just buy them because they look cool. I have to have a record collection that is something that I think is exciting. That was my reason. So there was some really cool albums. There was the Beatles. No, not a Beatles. A Beach Boys album. Beach Boys album. Awesome. The best of. And it's classic. Cool thing to have in your record collection. The Beach Boys. Of course, it'd be awesome. But I re-listened to them and I was like, I'm not really into the Beach Boys. Like, I'm picking up, I like that song, Good Vibrations, but I wouldn't sit and listen to a whole album. And that's when I rethought, and I'm like, all right, I'll look at these photos I've got and I'll work out which albums I would sit down, put on a record player and listen to from beginning to end. Sit down, I meditate, listen to music, and just put something on. I like an album that goes for an hour because I can put it on. It's my meditation time. I don't need a dong when you're playing a awesome album like this, which takes you to other realms. You should try meditating to Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. Booyah. Do it. It will set you on fire. So I did my research. I was like, all right, not getting the Beach Boys. And then I was doing some other research, and there was some that I had not seen before, but one of them that really stood out was this one. Boom! Look at that cover. I was like, yeah. I was like, but I'm not gonna buy it unless I'm gonna listen to all of it, and it was $3. And when I did research on it, there was a guy who gave a review, and he said, if you ever see this vinyl, buy it and give it a good home because it changed my life. I read that, I was like, what a review. Other guys gave reviews saying it takes you on such a great journey. It goes from Indian sitar music to 70s like psychedelic. So, and I listened to some of the songs on this. I couldn't hear all of them, but I was like, definitely getting it. Just all the reviews I was getting, and they were saying, just sit and listen to the whole album. I was like, that's what I was wanting. An album I could just sit down and listen to the whole thing, and he reckons it changed his life. I've only listened to, I think, 3 songs, because I could only find 3, because I was Googling, trying to find the songs that are streaming or on YouTube, and the 3 that I found, amazing. And some of them I couldn't find the actual song. I found the artist and listened to some songs of the artist, not the song on here. And I was like, yeah, that is awesome, good band. So it's just like a mix of these. I can't remember if it was 60s or 70s. Does it give me a year? Nah, can't see. I need better glasses. Yeah, but as you can see, late 60s, early 70s, I'd say. Booyah! Looking forward to sitting down when I have my record collection. I haven't revisited that one. I was just excited, which is cool. The other one, which the cover just blew me away, and I was going to buy just for the cover. I was like, don't do that. Make sure you listen to the whole thing. There's this one. Booyah! Look at that. J.O.B. Orchestra. This is a funk... spiritual album. So even one part of it, open up the doors of your heart. They go into Hare Krishna, then back into funk. Like, it's just like, yeah, funk, yeah, funk album. So that I found on streaming. So open up the doors to Your Heart by J.O.B. Orchestra. Have a Google. Amazing. I've got it in my record collection now. I am now a proud owner of a record collection which cost me my whole collection costs me less than the value of this album. So this album by itself, I paid $40 for, and it is worth $120. And I ended up paying $110 altogether. I think around $110 for my whole collection. Haven't finished yet. There's more coming. Then I mentioned the Beatles earlier. I said I didn't get any of the Beatles. Well, there wasn't a Beatles album there. They were in my head because I'm not a huge Beatles fan. But this was there. You heard of McCartney? Yeah, I think he was part of the Beatles. This is McCartney's first solo album. Listened to it, I was a bit like, interesting. Did some research. He recorded this in secret because the Beatles hadn't broken up yet. So he couldn't go to a studio and start recording by himself because it would leak out. They're like, what's he doing? There's the Beatles breaking up. He recorded it on a 4-track in his home. And listening to it with that understanding is amazing. And this album started the whole movement of minimalism of recording albums. So he showed what is possible at home. He also played all the instruments for this. It's like stripped back versions of songs, mate, and recorded himself and then released it. When he released it, he got a lot of backlash because people were like, what? He broke up the Beatles for this? Because they weren't used to this sound. Just him playing by himself, recording by himself, stripped back. Amazing, changed the music industry, I would say. It changed. Like, people started recording by themselves, 4-track. He showed it was possible. And I really enjoyed listening to this album. I was like, yeah, I'm excited to have that. And that was $8 Australian. So, and then, booyah, Wings. Paul McCartney, yep, he also was in Wings. This is Venus and Mars by Wings. Is it their, I think it's their second album as Wings, if I remember. Didn't sit down. I clicked through this because you got to remember, I had to redo my research and work out what albums I was going to get, and then go to bed. Couldn't stay up all night and listening to the whole album. I had a lot of albums to get through, so I skipped and listened to bits of this one. Loved it. I was like, yeah, this is really, really cool. Wings, keep the Paul McCartney thing going. Another album. This, Booyah. You probably heard of this. When I told my mum, she's like, yeah, I've heard of that. It's Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's a rock opera. It was pretty big in the time. It got #1, and look at that, rock opera. Yeah, I listened to that, and it's really interesting. The other studio soundtrack style album was War of the Worlds. That was there as well. But revisiting, I listened to War of the Worlds before. I was in high school, late high school. I listened to that when I first started playing guitar, hoping there'd be some rock stuff in there that I enjoyed. I didn't really like it. And then I revisited it again, going, maybe now I'm older, I might enjoy it, but didn't grab me. I was like, nah, I wouldn't sit down and meditate to it. It wasn't this type of music that I could, but this one was. Maybe it's the content, what it's about. I prefer journeying into the center of the earth rather than fighting off aliens. Exactly. So, continue, Paul. You got to get through this. Can't make it too long. Helen Reddy. Have you heard of her? Really enjoy it. I really liked it. There's one song on here which I love. It's called Angie Baby. So if you're following along at home and listening to maybe some song suggestions, Helen Reddy, really cool. My favorite song on this album is Angie Baby. It's about this girl. She is a loner, so she recluses to her room and escapes to her fantasy world by listening to rock albums. And they're like, Angie, why are you so weird? And when she listens to her rock albums, she goes to her fantasy world and she hangs out with fantasy lovers. So these guys that she has in each of the records, and she will put a record on and go to her fantasy world and hang out with a lover in her room by herself. And then there's someone in the town goes missing. No one ever suspects Angie. Maybe you listen to the song, you find out what Angie's really up to. It's pretty cool. She's listening to the albums and her fantasy hint. Yeah, great album. Joanne Baez, she played Woodstock. Guitar singer, big politician, like politics, fighting for people's right. Also, it caught my attention. Pretty Boy Floyd is the name of one of the songs, and that's also a name of like an 80s rock band. I was like, wow, I wonder if that's where Pretty Boy Floyd got their name from. I was like, yeah, cool. So I had to listen to that. Really lovely singer-songwriter. Didn't get to listen to this album. This is live. I listened to another live album which had some other amazing songs on it which are not on here. I was like, oh, I missed out on that one. This one's there, but I haven't heard these live versions because I couldn't find this on the internet, YouTube streaming at all. But I own it and I will listen to it one day. And it was $3. Booyah! In my record collection. Roger Hodges. This video might go for ages. Because I've got stories. Roger Hodgson, you know who he is? Come on, you know who Roger Hodgson is. Dreamer, and nothing but a dreamer. Oh yeah. When I was young, the world was so wonderful. Yeah, that's Supertramp. Lead singer of Supertramp, Roger Hodgson. When I saw this, when I was flicking through, I nearly took it with me because I've met Roger. I've met him. I was on a flight once and he was in business class. So I was walking past and they looked pretty cool. So you go talking to them and he's like, you guys off to, I tend to chat. I'm a chatter. Have you noticed? Yeah. So if I see someone who's interesting, I'll start up a conversation. So, you guys touring? He's off for a gig. I think I just said that. No. Yeah, how do you know? I was like, I'm a musician. I can pick a musician anywhere. And then usually if it's a band, and I'm like, you're off to a gig, then I'd try and guess. Okay, you're the singer, you're the drummer, and they would find that quite funny, and sometimes I'd be right, which would be even funnier. And so Roger, I met him, and he invited me along to his show. I was happening to be in the same area at the same time, and gave me press tickets. So I turned up. Name on the door. I'm sitting with the people who are writing reviews for the paper. At one stage during the concert, one of the guys next to me goes, "Did you get the name? What did you get the name of the song before the previous song?" And like thinking that I was like, "No, I'm just enjoying the show." And it was amazing. He played a lot of course, Supertramp rock. But I was unsure because this is his first solo album and I didn't know if I'd like it or not. And I loved it. Of course. I was like, yeah. And just for the fact that I've met him and he gave me free tickets to his concert and the concert just blew me away and made me realize how awesome Supertramp is and how many songs you know of Supertramp that you don't actually realise it's Supertramp. So have a listen to Supertramp. Oh, Roger. Have a listen to all of these music that I'm rambling about. Then it took me, I didn't realise what this album was because it looks a bit like, I was like, yeah, that looks like a crap album. It just says love songs. 20 original songs. I was like, oh, it looks like a and I was like, hang on, that's a bad photo of Elvis. And I turned it around, I flicked past it. It looks pretty, but it is an Elvis. It's an Elvis record. It's his love songs, and it's original because it doesn't have a really Elvis on there. I just thought, okay, I'd have one Elvis song, and then 20 other original songs from original artists, including because these songs I didn't connect with Elvis, but up the top there it does say Elvis, small letters. It should have Elvis. I was like, oh yeah, there'll be one, but it must be really cheap. I don't know.